Hey, and welcome back to Brad Tragic. Once again, YouTube acting like complete jackass, so you're stuck with me recording not on YouTube, but you'll probably get better video content because of this. So we have, I'm going to do a crazy wrestling review later today. I'll probably right after I upload this, I'll probably record the crazy wrestling review. But first, I want to do a flashback in time. What has transpired since this little article came out? This came out in I don't know what the date was. I think it's late. I think it was the second half of 2004. So this came out. It's Pro Wrestling Illustrated guide, PWI guide to professional wrestling, 163 federations profiled. I'm not going to go through all the federations with you. But the top guys coming out of the federations at the time was basically Samoa Joe was the main guy. I'm pretty sure Orton was already up and Hardy was already up. They're on the cover. See Joe in the middle there, Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton and the big man Samoa Joe. And I don't think I think he was still in ROH card at the time. I don't know if he was in TNA 2004. He might have been. He might have been TNA by then. But there's a little article in here. I'm just going to kind of go over some topics with you guys. About what has happened since then, and there's some things about it said the thing is article in here says 10 crucial questions facing wrestling in 2005, and some of these you can kind of like look back on and say, well, what has happened since then. I'm going to turn the air conditioning off because I don't know if you had trouble hearing me during that minute there. The first question was, is Randy Orton the second coming of The Rock? Now as we look back 2005, probably not. He's he was a big superstar in 2004, but I don't think he was a Rock. I mean, there'll never be another Rock. A lot of wrestling superstars, there'll never be a duplicate of. But to even say he was close to the Rock, no way, no way. I mean, Randy Orton is a big star in his own right, and I like Randy Orton. I liked what he's did for the business. I mean, he has stuck around, unlike some of these other guys who think the wrestling's too big for him, or wrestling's too small for him, and they want to go other places, a la Brock Lesnar and. Other people who just don't want to stay in the business. I mean, if they really truly have a passion for the business, they'll stick around. Another question is, will TNA succeed under a revamped business model? In 2004, actually, I'm thinking Samoa Joe might not have been in here yet. I thought he was. But they went from the weekly 2-hour pay-per-view, and they had started to go to the monthly pay-per-views, and I think they were getting ready to get the deal at the time for TV. So very, very cool that they did that, and you see where that's went lately. They have a monthly pay-per-view. I don't know if I honestly think, like, looking at TNA's product, I honestly think they should not do like a monthly pay-per-view. I think they should do like every 2 months, just because they're struggling, like kind of trying to write storylines and things like that. And the same for WWE. I think yes, our attention span is like very, very short, but product-wise, I think they should do like every 2 months. So that they can give us more stuff on TV that's more compelling, and then move to the pay-per-view to have the very, very compelling stuff. I think it would help a lot. Number 3 question was, should WWE expand its developmental system? Now since then we've seen a lot of things happen. Now, I'm not going to go into details like I know what the hell is going on. But they did have OVW. I believe OVW was, I don't really know. I think OVW may still be a camp for them, but I don't think they really rely on that anymore. I know Florida Championship Wrestling, I think, was the FCW, I believe, was the training ground for them, but they closed that, or they didn't close it, but I think they ended their deal with them, or they moved them to a facility somewhere. I talked about it in a previous video. If I find it, I can't remember what the title was called, though. But I think it was the news one. Yeah, the news one. Look for the news one, the Crazy Wrestling News. I only did like one. So look for that one. And it talks about the new facility and everything. So they have done something with it. So they are having that, but I don't know what else is going to happen with that everything. Could WWE hurt its business by running too many pay-per-views? I think I already covered that. So we'll skip that one. Are overseas tours the answer to a depressed U.S. market? They don't really go overseas as much as they used to. I think they still do, but I really don't think it doesn't really do anything to them. It's talking about the WWE. The question was, will WWE's 24/7 video on demand service appeal to a broad market? Well, I don't know how much, like, I don't know how much money is brought in from that. I don't know if a lot of people use it. I mean, I don't know. To me, like, I would just wait till the pay-per-view comes out on TV or out on video. But I know there is some matches online that, you know, I would love to watch sometime. I just don't like to watch. I just haven't watched them. I know they're available, and there's actually a lot for free that you can watch online that they have made available on WWE.com. Because I know you could watch, pretty sure you can watch like Sting matches and things on WWE.com, which is pretty cool. And they had, I think, they had some stuff. It's kind of like, I don't want to say seasonal, but like it matters what's going on at the current time. You know, they'll have, you know, like Survivor Series matches around that time, or Halloween Havoc. I think they had around like October last year and things like that. So it's pretty cool. I like it. I think the video demand service is awesome because, I mean, if the WWE is not going to put out like the WCW pay-per-views, then they'll do it this way. Is Kurt Angle on the verge of retirement? Well, we found out that that's not true, because he's still going pretty strong. I actually think he'll probably have another run in WWE before he actually retires, so we can have an emotional moment on TV. He'll probably end up going to WWE before that time's come. Will Bret Hart and Bruno Sammartino reconcile? Will Bret Hart and Bruno Sammartino reconcile their differences with Vince McMahon? Wow, that's a mouthful. And well, half of it came true. Bret Hart did reconcile with Vince McMahon. I just actually watched the Michaels versus Hart rivalry DVD thing on Netflix, the story. So if you didn't know, it is available on Netflix. You can actually watch the story. They don't have the matches on there, the extras and everything, but you can watch the story, which is actually pretty good. I'm probably guessing that with the extras thrown in there, which probably matches and stuff, it's probably a pretty good DVD, Blu-ray to own. But I mean, you know, Bruno Sammartino, I don't think so. I don't think he ever will. You know, if he's getting up that old, he's just going to hold a grudge and probably not ever. I'm assuming probably when, I don't know, like, I kind of hope that, you know, he tells his family or something like, when I'm dead and gone, then put me in the Hall of Fame. But I don't want to talk to Vince McMahon face to face. You know, I hope something like that happens. Who knows? But I'm assuming probably like after his death, they'll probably just put his picture up in the Hall of Fame, and they just won't like publicize it or whatever. Had the fans adjusted to WWE's reduction of excessive ring violence and big bumps? Well, you've seen the Attitude Era went away, and there's not really as much like teen like violence reference and everything, you know. So there's not really that many bumps. So yeah, they really toned it down. I don't know if the fans have really came back from it because they changed the product so much since then. Has the media overstated the negative when reporting the state of the sport? Well, I don't know what the hell that means, but what is that? I don't understand that. Yeah, well, WWE is crap nowadays. So there you go. And that was the end of that little segment thing. That's some cool little questions though. And just a little flashback here. I'll tell you who the champions were at the time. In 2004. Like probably at the end of 2004, the champions in WWE were the World Heavyweight Champion was, well, like there's only one champion at that time, I think. Triple H was the World Champion. Chris Jericho was the Intercontinental Champion. Tag Team Champions were La Resistance. Oh, what a beautiful time in history that was. Women's Champion was Trish Stratus. And Raw was on Spike TV. Yeah. Sunday Night Heat was on Spike TV. And The Bottom Line was on other things. And then SmackDown, they split them up. I forgot. The World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown was John Bradshaw Layfield. Yeah, easy for me to say. U.S. Champion was Booker T. And Tag Team Champions on there was Rene Dupree and Kenzo Suzuki. And Cruiserweight Champion was Spike Dudley. Yeah, I think I missed part of this. And they were on UPN at the time, and Velocity was on Spike TV, and Afterburn was, it says, via syndication. And then TNA, at this time in 2004, Jeff Jarrett was the NWA Heavyweight Champion. Tag team champs were Christopher Daniels and James Storm. Very odd teaming, I don't remember that. X Division champion was P.D. Williams. And they were on pay-per-view monthly, it says. And Impact was at... Yeah, Impact was on... I think this is when Impact wasn't really on. It was on Friday, but I think it wasn't on, or I think it was on only on the Fox Sports Net at this time. So it was kind of like you caught it or you didn't catch it. I remember catching Explosion a couple times when it was on back in the day. It was kind of cool. But you know, I remember seeing a guy who I seen at a local independent show called Nate the Spider Webb. So you can do your research on that. He's actually did a couple. I think he's did more than one appearance for TNA back in the day. I don't know what he's doing now. But I remember he was on there, and I was like, "Hey, I seen that guy. I paid $10 to go see a small show by him in Greensburg, Indiana." So pretty cool. Not much in this little book. There's some other ones. I don't really think there's anything else really to go into depth in this video about. I just figured it'd be kind of cool to bring it up to people. See, also, I'll go here and look at this page real quick. Top prospects at the time in 2004. See if any of them has made it up to WWE by now. Well, I can get there sometime. Okay, so at the time in 2004, Sean Daivari had not came up to WWE. Austin Aries was in Ring of Honor at that time. Joey Matthews was in OVW. Aaron Aguilera was there. And I don't know if he ended up. I don't know if he was in a deal with. I don't know if he ever came. I think he did come on TV one time. Gene Snitsky was on in OVW at that time. Yes, I don't think he came up. He hadn't came up at that time. Ricky Reyes. He actually, I think he did a thing. I think actually he came on TV for a little bit. Andy Douglas was an up-and-comer. Alex Shelley, of course, was just kind of starting out. Harry Smith was not even. He was in Stampede Wrestling at that time. Somewhere, I don't know where that's at. Jack Evans. I'm assuming it's in Canada. Stampede Wrestling, but I could be wrong. Jillian Hall. There's OVW. Melina Perez. Some of these guys, you know, they probably did Tracy Brooks in TNA. P.D. Williams. I don't know why these guys are in TNA and they're calling them independent things. It's kind of weird. Yeah, that's about it. Because all the other ones are like they're calling TNA like independents for some reason. I think it had. I don't think TNA really reached like mainstream status at that point. They were still kind of determined independent because they hadn't really made a deal with TV yet. So yeah, there you go. So a lot has changed since 2004. I mean, think about it. It's almost pretty close to 10 years, about 8 years. So a lot can change in 8 years. Look, 5 years from now, there will probably be like half the people on the roster in both organizations will probably be completely different. TNA don't seem to change that much, but WWE seems to change quite often. And I think that's what the problem is, and I think I brought that up on my young talent thing, is that, you know, they don't build talent like they used to. They don't let them stay there long enough to build the talent. So that's their issue. They need to get some good wrestlers in there that they really can get behind, and, you know, really start to build characters out of the guys, and, you know, keep them around. So there you go. No, I did not go to Pensacola, Florida. I got this as a shirt from a relative who went there recently, my sister-in-law. So, thank her. Thank her. Thank you. So there you go. Any comments down below about what you think good or bad? Well, 2004 was probably pretty good compared to this year. Because John Cena had not overwhelmed the nation at that time. So, there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this little flashback, and see you next time on the next Brad Tragic video. Later. Rock on.